hunger for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop at a time. How long shall they kill our prophets?
While we stand aside and look, you're inside our pre-Emancipation Day show. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We have so much to be thankful for and so much to be grateful for. Let us hold the mantle of our forefathers high while celebrating but not forgetting their struggles, which today afford us our freedom. Today, together, let us reignite our nation for greatness. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
No matter where in this world I go, I am a Jamaican.
Jamaica comes alive as we celebrate 60 years of independence, our Diamond Jubilee, all year long. Join in the celebratory events, showcasing impactful legacy projects, entertainment and exciting commemorative events. Resilient and brave, industrious. Yes, we are Jamaicans. Jamaica 60, reigniting a nation for greatness.
Them here Jamaican chat, them say Jamaican bop.
On Get the Facts this week, we reflect on our journey into Jamaica 60.
Welcome to Get the Facts. This is the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Theodore Henry. As we celebrate our 60th year of independence, we reflect on the early days, and our special guest will take us on that journey. He's a man with a wealth of knowledge about Jamaica's history, and he's hailed as a national treasure. He's none other than Vivian Crawford, Executive Director of the Institute of Jamaica. Welcome to the program, Mr. Crawford.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. It's my privilege, pleasure, and duty to share. Excellent. And allow me to commend JIS for this continuity of our heritage. Right. I'm from a generation where this was perhaps not a priority.
Well, let's start getting the facts right there. Perhaps not a priority. I won't say how old I am, but I am young. I wasn't there. Yes. All I've known is Jamaica living in this state of independence. Yes. What was it like before?
Well, before you would have learned in your sociology class from perhaps Hermione Mackenzie or her husband Herman about acculturation, where the heritage of another country was placed on you.
All right.
So we are here today celebrating and commemorating what's good, what's wonderful about our country that was perhaps hidden.
All right. Give us an example. When we were speaking prior to the interview, you mentioned some cultural innovations, things we have now, which you wouldn't have had then.
Well, the context of the cultural innovation is a very outstanding Jamaican, Sir Philip Sherlock.
Yes.
When he was a student at a certain high school here in Kingston, he asked his teacher if the children could be exposed to some Jamaican heritage or West Indian heritage.
Our story.
Yes, our story. And the teacher looked at him and said, an English teacher, of course, boy, you have no history.
Wow.
Of course, the rest is history, because that's what we are commemorating and celebrating. And so it's Jamaica to the world. When I see that the BBC could declare Bob Marley's One Love as the song of the century, and Time Magazine declared Exodus as the album of the millennium, and just 2019, Peter Tosh, Jah is My Keeper, was performed at Canterbury Cathedral, Jamaica to the world.
So from we have no history to 60 years plus.
To so much to share.
So much to share. All right, I want to get a picture of what it was like in those days. And we've always heard those stories about the community spirit. What was the community spirit like?
Oh, yeah. Well, the community spirit was pinned on what we call volunteerism.
Yes.
There are three institutions, home, school, and church.
Right.
And those institutions, they guided the community. You couldn't fool yourself.
Right, right.
Yes.
So you're saying that a lot of people had a basis in these three institutions?
Oh, yes. If you miss it at home, school was there.
Right.
And church was a leveling institution. And church provided an opportunity for you to have a thing called recitation. So you could speak and you learn to sing, and those creative activities propelled you.
Ah.
There was a control with regard to behavior.
Right.
There's a word called manners. It is not very prevalent these days. The only place you see manners now is in the dictionary.
Right.
But I grew up in an age where it was called manners. You must have manners.
And how would you say people related to each other? Because I'm sure, people held each other accountable when you're speaking about
Indeed,
manners.
and you had to be very courteous. You had to be very courteous.
Right.
And I'm from an age which sounds like 1066, where I was at the high schools, the colleges, when the principal or your teacher entered the room, you had to stand.
Yeah.
They didn't do that in your time?
No. No, we didn't quite do that. Well, we did say good morning and do that sort of thing.
We stood.
But give me a little bit more about your school days.
Well, I was privately tutored under the colonial examination, and then I went on to the MICO.
The MICO,
yes. So I was trained as a what they call elementary school teacher.
Right.
And then when I left the MICO, then I taught at Central Branch. You perhaps see the picture of those children on the note. The children out of many one.
Right.
I taught some of those
there.
children. That group there. Yes.
Okay.
So I'm from way back.
Well, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here today. You're giving us the facts about what has gone before.
Yes.
So, I want to zoom in now on the moment.
Independence.
That day.
That day.
What was that day like?
Well, that day, I was not in Kingston because I had left the college and gone to my rural community.
Right.
But I am aware of that day at the stadium when the British flag went down and our flag went up. And as a country, we said, we are now going to build, we are going to start. And we beg people to take time with us because some 300 years we are coming from, it takes a little time to build. And my continuing regret, though, about our building is that the voluntary service has, and I have no apology for saying it, has collapsed. Because
what do you mean?
Voluntary service in my time, 4-H Club, Boy Scout, Girl Guides, Cadet, all those groups, young people were involved in them. And so you learned about that, what we call social control.
But Sir Crawford, I know these groups still exist now, but are you saying that we're not feeling the impact
where they exist? They are not, it's not prevalent.
It's not prevalent.
No, there's just a few. Yes, the impact isn't there.
Understood.
Yes, I can't tell when last I've seen Girl Guides or Boy Scouts marching around, and the cadet. Were you a member of the cadet team?
No, I personally wasn't on cadet.
Yes, the cadet team, they facilitated the Jamaica Defense Force. And these were the groups where young people, they were involved with those groups, and so they learned about my favorite expression, manners. And
we're going to
conduct themselves.
We're going to talk some more about this sort of thing because it's good to look at the past and see what we can learn here in the present. But we're going to go to a break, but really quickly, I want you to show us some evidence of 1962, of what happened there on August 6, 1962.
Okay.
You brought some here. Can we see them?
No.
That commemorative item.
Yes. Well, the people in the legal profession ask us about evidence.
Yes.
So here's evidence that we had. This is a saucer.
Right.
I didn't bring the cup.
So this was a set to mark the day.
Well, it said yes. Well, it was. I didn't buy it actually. This was. These were given to me by my mother and my aunt of blessed memory, because they knew that a day like this would come.
Yes.
Yes. So here it is. This is the saucer.
Wow.
And then, this is the breakfast plate.
All right. And there we have the coat of arms, right?
Yeah, the coat of arms there, yes.
Independence celebrations,
Yes.
6th of August, 1962.
Right. Is the first to sing something like
I didn't see them. I
okay.
know that they were there.
Hence we brought the evidence. So we brought two so that we could see that this really took place.
Yes. So coming from a place and time, a thing that makes gives us reason to be here. We've been having such an interesting conversation with Vivian Crawford, but the conversation is not done yet. We're going to continue talking about Jamaica over the last 60 years, what he remembers, his memories, but we're going to go to a quick break. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Get the Facts. We are reflecting on 60 years of independence and the changes over the period through the life of Sir Vivian Crawford. Sir Crawford, let's jump right back into it. Yeah. The last thing we said, we had showed the plates, the evidence, you had told us your recollection. Now I want to know what happens after.
Right. There was a mobilization of the voluntary forces I spoke about earlier, because they realized that these were the forces, the engines, that would be used for nation building.
Okay.
To train people so that they know the way forward. And that was just so exciting.
Yeah.
When I came to Kingston in 1959, there were no burglar bars, sash window.
Yes.
And I was coming from a deep rural area where I've never seen lock and key and door.
So this whole thing of grill up and...
No, we didn't have it. And in Moortown, Portland, where I was born and grew up, when night come, you just, let's say, turn the door.
Right.
The only fear we had was of Duppy. But we know that if you splash a little rum here and there, Duppy would perhaps disappear. But my continuing regret, as I said, we're coming now from 1962 forward, is that the sash window went and we're grilling.
Right.
There was concern in Kingston, though, in 1959, 1960. The concern was that Kingston mash up because there was a lot of stealing. So guess what was the stealing? They didn't have refrigerators then. And so they tied up the chicken on a Saturday night for the Sunday lunch and gave it vinegar to soften the bones because it's fall run up and down.
Oh, okay.
Down, you know. And then the clothes on the line were stolen, usually stolen off.
What?
That was the contract. But they said Kingston mashup.
And that was it?
That was it.
Wow.
And I go back to what I said earlier. If only our voluntary groups, if people could volunteer. I find we have a generation where people are not volunteering. Somebody told me that volunteerism is not a legal tender at a supermarket. I said, well, we benefited from volunteerism.
Right.
So we should go there and help one another. I remember teaching at Central Branch, and at the end of the day, it was 4:30. The member of staff, Mr. Lisa Jones, she later became principal of Shortwood practicing. I said, you're not going home. You live all the way in Stonehill.
Yes.
She has 4 children
Right.
to go and take care of. She said, no, she was going to Trenchtown because she was a member of the Young Women's Christian Association. She was going there to do a class. You don't have that level of volunteerism.
So a great deal of movement in
but
society.
I used to teach
volunteerism.
at Boys Town
Right.
on a Friday. After school, teach them to play the recorder. You ever heard of recorder?
Yes, man.
The only one you know is to record.
I learned it back in the day.
And then at Alpha on a Saturday morning, volunteerism. Whoever you are, you're all caught up in it.
Yeah,
Everybody.
moving the country forward.
Yes, was caught up in volunteerism. Teaching for free.
We're going to go forward with the conversation, but I am curious, after the 60s, 70s, the 80s, are there any other memories that jump out at you particularly?
Oh, yes. Happy memories of the preservation of our culture.
Yes.
Believe me. I am at the Institute of Jamaica.
Yes.
It was established in 1879 for the encouragement of literature, science, and art.
Right.
And perhaps that's the only enduring structure for me that the colonial government gave, one enduring structure, because the day would come when we'd be concentrating on our own heritage.
Yes.
And at the Institute of Jamaica, I remember going to Spanish Town Square and saw the space where the Act for the Abolition of Slavery was read. And what was there? What was the evidence? All I saw, a man was selling cane and guinea.
Right, right.
And I said, my God, we passed the place without even any reverence.
A moment
So
of history.
So I launched an appeal, and well, it was out of government regulations because they say I couldn't ask for public donation on behalf of government, rightly so.
Right.
But by the time the response came, I had already secured 40,000 through the Institute account.
Right.
And we use it. When you go to Spanish Town Square now, you'll see the plaque.
I'm familiar
And
with
from
it.
the yes, from the steps, the act was read for the abolition of slavery.
Yeah.
And the person who signed that act, Queen Victoria, the person she succeeded, King William IV, he had overnight at the Institute of Jamaica in the 1780s. As he had come there with Lord Nelson, we read about.
Right, right.
And stayed there. It wasn't called a hotel then. It was called a hall.
Hall. All right. You've spoken a great deal about your professional contributions to Jamaica. You're now at the Institute of Jamaica as executive director. You told us that you were a teacher. Is there anything else you have?
Well, I was in banking.
Yes?
Yes.
You've been
Mortgage
around,
banking.
man.
Yeah, well, at my tender age, it's
It's only expected.
But no, I was in commercial banking. I did commercial banking, Jamaica Mortgage Bank, and then I went to banking, Citizens Bank. Very wonderful time there with Mr. Elon Beckford, because he wasn't teaching only about banking, but about community development. Because while we were at the bank, we did voluntary service in schools.
Right,
I went to
right,
Kingston Technical, yes, to do voluntary service. Yes,
Right, right.
yes. So it's back to the voluntarism.
Yes, you keep going back there.
I don't know if a banker today would be going out into the schools to teach.
Well, I think there are different ways now of community impact. But
Okay.
regarding community impact, you've mentioned the Institute of Jamaica and the wealth of information that is there. What can I access as a citizen of the country?
Oh,
Is
yes.
it
Well, when
open
you
to
go
me?
there, all the treasures are there. We have the National Museum.
So it's open to me?
Of course, it's open to everyone. We have the National Museum, where you'll be seeing from the Taino. When the Spaniards came here, that heritage is there.
Right.
The Taino artifacts. We have the Natural History Museum. That is an area of our country we haven't given much attention as people, because we don't know that there are plants, Mr. Henry, in Jamaica found nowhere else on earth.
Right.
Flora and fauna found nowhere else on earth. All that is there.
Yes.
There's a National Gallery. Only 1975 that gallery was established. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Because art is just like writing a book. Every picture tells a story, and that is about us. Then we have the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, Jamaica Memory Bank, which is the African retention, but all the personalities in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Their ancestry, it's there, and we, as you are doing today, the memory of older people about our heritage. Then Jamaica Music Museum, Herbie Miller, he
Yes.
coordinates all of that and collects the instruments.
So a crystallization of Jamaica's history through
Yes.
through art.
Through all of that. Through
All
all
of
of that.
that.
And it's open to the public.
Wonderful. Sir Crawford, I think I know what you're going to say, but I have to give you the moment to say it. Many Jamaicans are watching this program. Many Jamaicans are learning for the first time of what would have been during those times and what made Jamaica in the early days. So I want you to speak directly to
Yes.
Jamaicans in this moment. Teach us in these few moments.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. And again, I ask that this program be continued, because there is a lot to be told. The past is history. The future is a mystery. But the present is a gift. And we have to allow persons to share our present, or to help them to open their present, because Jamaica, I echo the words of the first European tourist who came to Jamaica 1494, Christopher Columbus, he said, the fairest isle that eyes ever see, Jamaica land we love. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Sir Vivian Crawford, the Executive Director of the Institute of Jamaica. You have given us a wealth of information in just these few moments. He has underscored volunteerism and how much that was a part of the Jamaican identity. We thank you for joining us for Get the Facts. Again, our guest, Executive Director of the Institute of Jamaica, Vivian Crawford. We thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Take good care.
We are in the high spirit of our 60th independence, celebrating all things Jamaican. As part of that, last Thursday saw the unveiling of 2 Jamaica 60 commemorative stamps.
When the nation was born, a set of emblems were designated to become the icons of this new nation. The national flower, the national tree, the national fruit, the national bird. It is therefore fitting that in this year of our Diamond Jubilee, that a commemorative stamp be commissioned to mark this important milestone in Jamaica's history. It presents Jamaica with a unique opportunity to celebrate all things Jamaican. I can encourage everyone to collect these stamps because they're going to be valuable, particularly at this time when everything is going digital. But there is always need for commemorative stamps. I want to encourage Jamaicans here and in the diaspora to purchase the stamps and to use the stamps and to give them as gifts.
And remember to download the Reggae Jamaica mobile app to keep in the know and make your way over to one of the scheduled events like the Emancipation Park Jubilee celebration at the Seville Heritage Park in St. Anne. It begins today at 4:30 p.m. and admission is free. Don't forget August Morning Market at the Independence Village inside the National Stadium tomorrow, August 1. And look out for the Independence Float and Street Parade.
At 10 o'clock on Emancipation Day, we welcome back the Independence Float and Street Parade. The Float and Street Parade will start at the Randy Williams Entertainment Center on Hope Road, goes to Halfway Tree, then to Oxford Road, then to Tom Redcombe, and end up in the National Stadium car park. The Float and Street Parade will include a number of our Jamaican sound systems, including Stone Love, Renaissance, and Rough Cut. We will have 8 exciting floats, 7 music trucks, 7 costume groups, effigies, John Canoe, youth groups. We'll also be crowning on Emancipation Day the Jamaica Festival Queen in the Independence Village.
Jamaica 60, reigniting a nation for greatness.
History doesn't change the past, but likely it changes the future. Wise words from Martin Luther King Jr. In this next feature, journey with us as we track the establishment and development of our postal services.
Did you know Jamaica was the first British colony to establish a post office? Yes, that's right, a post office. In 1663, King Charles II, the then reigning monarch, instructed Sir Thomas Lynch, Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica, to make the necessary arrangements for the establishment of a post office in the island. But this was met with obstacles, and on October 31, 1671, Gabriel Martin was appointed Postmaster General and was instructed to build the first post office in the then capital, St. Diego de la Vega, now known as Spanish Town. It was known as the Postal Corporation of Jamaica, which operated as a sub-branch of the British Post Office. Soon after, the need for reliable postal services grew, and in 1754, Edward Dismore was later appointed Postmaster General. He then established a network of post offices throughout the island, many of which remain as major post offices today. In 1776, the main post office was moved from Spanish Town to Harbour Street in Kingston, and in 1860 came the ending of its sub-branch status with the British Post Office. Then came the dreaded 1907 earthquake, which caused significant damage to infrastructure within the parish, to include the main post office. Plans were drawn up to construct a new building to include an automated central sorting office. Work started in the mid-1970s, and the sorting facility fully commissioned in 1980. Today, there is a network of nearly 600 post offices and postal agencies, with the central sorting office at the helm. In May of 1858, Jamaica used its first adhesive postage stamp. These were from Britain and were sent to the colony for use by the locals. In 1860, Jamaica got its own postage stamp. The first ones were valued at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 pence and a shilling. Soon, the need arose for a halfpenny stamp. The then Postmaster General decided to permit people to cut 1 penny stamps in half, diagonally, and each half would have a recognized value of half a penny. The first pictorial stamp to be used by Jamaica offered a view of Landover Falls in St. Anne. This was in 1900, but the size and color of the stamp were not liked. The stamp was entirely red, and it was known as the bedspread with the Welsh name. So in 1901, Jamaica reissued the stamp in 2 colors, black and red. A set of 4 stamps which featured historic scenes were issued to commemorate the 300th anniversary of British rule in 1955. And in 1956, a series of 16 stamps were issued, showing various local scenery, plants, and animals. When Jamaica gained independence in 1962, these stamps were overprinted with the word independence and the year 1962. Today we see a revolutionized Jamaica with technology at its focus. Now we are able to ship and track mail packaging in real time across the globe with the click of a button. The Jamaica Postal Service has cemented itself as an outstanding service provider, delivering mail items both locally and internationally, the major plank of its core business. And in keeping with the mandate to increase revenue based on customer demands, Jamaica Post has, over the years, expanded its offerings with the introduction of premium services to better serve its customers.
That's all the time we have left today on this show. Do join us again tomorrow on the same station for another exciting installment of Jamaica Magazine. To rewatch today's offering or other content like this, visit our website, jis.gov.jm. From all of us here at the JIS, have yourself a wonderful Sunday. I'm Adrian Atkinson. See you next time.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.